take a look around and find somebody to War Eagle. It's showtime.
Holy cow! Oh my God!
Hello, Auburn, Alabama. And all points around the globe where War Eagle can be heard and returned with joy. Particularly at Duncan and Varsity, where that fabulous new dining hall is darn near complete. Oh, if I'd had such back in the day. Well, enjoy and bon appetit, y'all, as soon as you get to crack that thing open, which should probably be any day now. As they get some landscaping going on around that thing. It's a bit of a mud pit at the moment. Anyhow, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day to you. And I hope this message, as always, finds you truly well and joyful. And that you are finding something, anything productive to do with your time as we approach the very dark days of summer. The dark days, the long, steamy, unbearable, unhuman days of summer nothingness. 6,942 days until football resumes, or something like that. And everyone can start complaining again. Although I don't see the complaining stopping. But complainers going to find something to complain about. Haters going to hate. Maybe we can all holler about the decorative toilet paper hanging from the ceiling of the new football performance center. Whoever wrote about that, I think that was a pretty small nit to pick, given that it seemed to be a very extraordinarily small and limited little display. The author of this, nutsack with a keyboard, award goes to this guy who seemed to make everyone think in his article about the new football performance facility, a video of which was just released, that toilet paper will be hanging from the ceiling of the entire complex. You're a dumbass. Stop misleading people just because you don't have anything to talk about. But anyway, hello, consumers of Auburn broadcast transmissions, and welcome to Auburn Stuff. This is the Variety Show podcast, where we discuss the philosophy of life in orange and blue and other stuff that crosses my wake that maybe I find interesting. Which could get, fascinating over the next few months. I guess fascinating like watching a bear trying to unlatch your storm door on your doorbell cam fascinating. It's like you really can't look away and you're kind of rooting for the bear, but obviously you don't want your door ripped off and your house trashed. So who the heck knows what could be emanating from these airwaves, these pod waves, in the months to come, as we claw our way back to fall and a respite from not only the insufferable weather, but the sweet, quenching refreshment of the resumption of meaningful athletics. Amen. And as always, warm greetings as well to our listeners from various points, various locales, various places in Alabama, around the country and around the globe. From Gulf Shores to Skyline, or as a friend of mine used to say, Gulf Shores. Where are you from, Gulf Shores? And in Fort Valley, Georgia. If you've ever driven from east to west across the great state of Georgia going to the plains of Auburn, you have no doubt come across and stopped at Lane Southern Orchards. And their blessed cobbler and the other fine sundry delicacies they have. Shout them out, even though they are, well, being in the middle-ish of Georgia, their allegiances lie in a certain place that is not conducive to our beliefs. However, they got amazing blackberry cobbler, so I am friendly with those folks, and they are wonderful. And in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. A lot of forts today. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne Division. 5th Group, Special Forces. And the 160th SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for some of your help over the years. And listeners up in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Way up in South Canada. Pocatello, Idaho. And representing our distant Auburn family in Christchurch, New Zealand. A very special thank you to our little following in New Zealand. Shoot me a line. Let me know who you are. And thank you all for joining the fun. Where I sit, the current time is about to flip to 4:17 Eastern Daylight Time. 16:17 on Tuesday, the 4th day of May. I'm not going to do it, nerds. And the current weather at College of Magnolia is giving you 84 mostly cloudy, muggy, and windy degrees. With a hot southwesterly wind at around 13. With humidity at grotesque percent, which is all making it feel like it's 91 degrees. Delightful for early May, he said derisively. Anywho, so my co-ed softball games were forfeited away by the other team, so here I sit on Tuesday, 1 week removed from the last podcast recording. Must have been meant to be. I hate forfeits. I hate not playing, basically. I mean, I'm good with going out and just having a little BP and a little fielding practice. I hate not playing. I mean, first of all, it takes me about an hour just to get ready to get out the door with the heating pads around my leg. I got the from my physical therapist, I got the idea for a sock filled with rice that you microwave and put under. I let that sit on my calves to sort of melt away scar tissue. And then I got the heating pads, these clay pellet heating pads that you microwave. And they're like long, and so like 2-3 feet long and skinny, and you kind of wrap them around your legs. So I got one of those wrapped around each quad hammy, and the sock under the calf. It's not easy doing things when you're old, but do them anyway. So here I am. I was out of town this weekend on a multi-level family visit to my in-laws, which live up in the I guess kind of between the Midlands and the upstate of South Carolina. Sort of between Columbia and Greenville. And so I went to see my niece, who's in 8th grade, pitch for her softball game in, where were we? Batesburg, Leesville High School. That kid's got skills. She's going places. Gas. She's in 8th grade, and all the varsity's talking about bringing her up. Who's that pitcher? Bring her up. Get her up here. Anyway, so that was fun to be a proud uncle of my favorite niece. Don't tell anyone else. She's my oldest niece, so she has to be my favorite, right? She was there first. And it was also my mother-in-law's birthday and the middle niece of that set's birthday. And so you know how that stuff goes. Old people in the South, birthday parties, you know, they take place at the nearest restaurant that can accommodate 70 people eating fried food. And actually, my middle niece's birthday party was a lot of fun because we all ended up playing softball out in their backyard with the kids and the hobbling adults. My brother-in-law and I took on the squad of girls, the squad of middle school girls. We had to bat left-handed and had some other weird rules. But that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So maybe I got my softball in that way. So here we sit on this Tuesday with not a lot interesting to talk about, quite frankly, in the Auburn spectrum. There's the draft, which I'll touch on briefly in a moment because I just don't care. I wish you all well, Auburn men, as you proceed with your hopes and dreams to the next level. Some of you will make it, some of you will not. But comport yourself wherever you go as good Auburn men will, as good Auburn men should. If not, you're dead to me. I just don't care. Y'all have heard me say it 100 times before. I don't care about the NFL anymore. I just don't. They've become over-sanitized, corporatized, social justiceized bullshit. And it's just tedious. It's painful. It's just awful. I can't tell who's playing where anymore. And I mean that players and teams. The Rams, I don't know where they are anymore. The Raiders, I don't know where they are anymore. But my beloved Atlanta Falcons have just been so goddamn painful to watch the last few years that it's a joke. Doesn't matter how many points they score, they're losing. It's terrible. And I guess they drafted Kyle Pitts, which would be ordinarily something to get excited about, but doesn't matter. Score 100 points, give up 102. So we'll talk about the draft here shortly, very shortly. And maybe a few other Auburn things. You know, last time I sat here in this chair, I had probably 17 or 18 tabs pulled up of things to discuss, articles that have come up recently, but I just don't have that much going on. Nothing really interested me. We'll talk about transfers and whether you should or should not be freaking out. And if you hear all that damn dinging, that's my my softball group chat text thing. These people, I would play for my wife's team, and she works in advertising, so there's a lot of creative types, people who are very witty for a living, and I can't keep up with that level of wit, but I enjoy sitting back and listening to what they deliver. Yeah, so what's going on? Got my wife and I got our second COVID vaccination yesterday. So we are free from worry, right? I swear to God, I don't know. I just got to the point where I was like, screw it, just shoot me. I mean, with the shot, with the needle. You could shoot me in the face too if you want with a 357, but just shoot me. Shoot me in the arm. I don't care. You're trying to inject me with some sort of mind-altering, brainwashing potion. I don't care. At least I won't have to hear about COVID anymore. So, yeah, there's that. So I can just walk around wherever I want to walk. And speaking of which, I'm being facetious, obviously, but speaking of which, we talked about how the restrictions have been eased in various places by various municipalities and counties and states. And I hope that is happening in your neck of the woods. But around here, it's basically been left up to the stores if they want to ask you to wear a mask or not. As it should be. And by the way, as I keep saying, just because they have removed the mandate for masks in certain areas doesn't mean you have to stop wearing it. Engage your brain, folks. And so I walked into Walmart after getting the second vaccination. We had to pick up a few things. My wife and I walked in there. She elected to go ahead and put on her mask. I put it on when I wear a neck gaiter, so I pulled the gaiter up when we walked in there, and I looked around. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Pulled that mask down and walked around and looked, and it was probably around here for the last year. It's probably been 98 to 99%. Any place you walk in, people wearing masks. And at Walmart yesterday, it was probably 85-15 wearing to not wearing. And I enjoyed walking around, not breathing lint in my own breath, and being able to carry on a conversation with someone delightful. And also at the gym. I haven't talked about the gym in a while. At the gym, the sign. There's been a sign as you walk in the front door, a dry erase board. It's been there for a year that has said, well, at least for the last 6 or 8 months or 9 months, it said, mask must be worn when entering, when leaving, in the locker rooms, and when moving between equipment. So in other words, they didn't make you wear it on the treadmill or on the bench or whatever. And it's all, of course, virtue signaling, stupid bullshit. And we all know it. And you know, the businesses have to do it. They play the game. You don't have to like the game, but play the game and move on. And so while, yes, it is incredibly stupid to make people wear masks walking between equipment when they're not wearing it, while they're spitting and straining and, you know, everything else when you're pushing up a couple of 100 pounds or panting away on the treadmill or on the elliptical. You know, whatever. Do what you got to do. So now the sign says masks must be worn when entering and leaving the gym. That is all. Lovely. Lovely. Still stupid, but you got to play the game. And I find that to be super dope, yo. So walk in the door, scan your little barcode, rip that mask off and work out, baby. I've enjoyed that, and I hope the restrictions are being eased where you live as well. And obviously we know that if you're in California, New York. Now look, dude, there's places where you probably shouldn't. That's why we don't treat this giant, vast nation of 50 states and innumerable counties and municipalities and 300 some odd million people That's why we don't do a blanket policy for everyone without dragging everyone down into ruins. Anyway, if you live in a place where they haven't eased the restrictions yet, hope you're doing well and doing everything you can to get face-to-face conversations with people, because it's important. We got to remove these physical barriers from between us. It's very bad for the human spirit, as we have discussed. So I think I mentioned last time that we got the first vaccination at Walgreens. So Walgreens it was for the second one as well. Obviously, you make that appointment together. And I noticed this the first time around, and I'm going to say this right here. Maybe this will spur some change. You know, nothing ever happens unless you make it happen. Or something like that. But anyway, I will never, because of my experiences over these two vaccination appointments, and I am a reasonable human being, but I will never go to Walgreens pharmacy for anything again. Terrible customer service. All right. Now, look. Everybody's stressed out. The medical profession in general, and I'm including pharmacies with that, for obvious reasons, have been stretched thin with personnel through this crisis. However, being an asshole is never acceptable for a customer service position. For example, when an old man who looked to be about 88 is standing there trying to socially distance and wait his turn, maybe as you're standing behind the counter, you can not say, "Is there something I can help you with?" How about, "May I help you with something, sir?" "How may I help you, sir?" "Is there something I can help you with?" "Yeah." Good God. So no, being an asshole is not acceptable in customer service. However, you, the customer, can always help assuage the situation by, I don't know, removing your head from your ass and being less of an unprepared, unaware turd weasel. And maybe you can start off with a smile and a friendly greeting for the bedraggled clerk and not get testy with someone who has no control over your ridiculous medical situation. It's a cycle. It works both ways. You never know what's going on with people, do you? Maybe your friendly greeting, just a smile. Just letting that person who has had the shittiest day of their life, perhaps, know that you are not going to be the 100th person in a row to step in front of them and act like an ass. An entitled, self-righteous, self-involved, unaware dipshit. Just by the expression on your face. So while you may be beset with rudeness, you don't have to answer it as such. It does no one any good at all. Sometimes it can provide a little comedy. Cranky old lady sitting there. When my wife and I arrived, we got there about half an hour before, about 20 minutes before our scheduled appointment, which they tell you to get there 15 minutes before, which we made the mistake last time of arriving on time. And there were a handful of people sitting there waiting on their vaccinations. And one of them was this little old lady sitting over there to the side, looked like she was minding her own business. And the lady who was clearly doing the vaccinations came out of the little vaccine room and was taking something somewhere. And as she returned, of course, little old lady, there she is, bless her heart. Well, I just been sitting here. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. And blah, 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 blah. And the vaccination lady, to her credit, kind of took a beat, looked around, and instead of saying, hey, fuck you, old lady, or shut up, or look, I'm trying my best, to her credit, kind of took a beat and looked around and said, well, we're working to get you in as soon as possible. It looks like you're in good company here. To which, without missing a beat, little old cranky, testy lady said, I don't need company. I need that shot. Which struck me as amusing at first, and a wave of little titters of laughter went across the area. And if she'd have let it go there, it might have been fine. Look, cranky old lady, we get it. You don't have very much longer to be on this planet, so whatever. You're allowed to be a little testy. Man, she couldn't let it go. And so the vaccination lady just walked away from that, let that sit in the air. And then little old lady just kept going. Been sitting here forever. I don't need no people around here. I just need that shot. Give me that shot. What I got to do? How long I got to sit around here? And on and on and on. It's like at that point, you just wanted to turn to her and go, look, Grandma, how is that helping? Anyone, anywhere. Shut your hole. So, yeah, man, I mean, read the room. Be aware. Be aware of something outside of your own skin. Be situationally aware and adapt yourself to that situation. And it wasn't more than about maybe 90 seconds after that whole little tirade that she started calling everybody in, and the little old lady was first. Went there, took her all of about 25 seconds or so to get her shot. And away we all went. So yeah, you can help situations by being resourceful, being ready, being aware of what the hell it is you're actually there for. For example, don't be the woman who gets up to the checkout line, has 962 items scanned, takes 14 and a half minutes, and the clerk says that'll be $792.64, and you pull out your checkbook and start writing the check. Be prepared. When you're at the pharmacy, I presume you know why you're there. It's not a mystery. Maybe have your ID and your insurance card ready. Maybe while you're standing online, you can think about the questions that might come your way from the clerk, from the pharmacist, when you say whatever it is that you're going to say. Sort of war game it out a little bit while you're standing there. I don't know what else you're doing. Oh, right, you're staring at your phone. You're flicking your thumb through social media. Talking to you, Gert, Granny, Sid. It ain't just the kids. Anyway, endeavor to be a better human. Speaking of Walgreens and Walmart, have you noticed, and I wouldn't have even brought this up if I had not now seen it at multiple places at the point of sale, at checkout. When you finish scanning your items and the next screen that comes up is supposed to be the one that says, pay, your total is this, pay this, press this button to do debit or credit, or enter your cash. Except now there's a screen before that that says, do you wish to fight hunger today? Do you want to fight hunger? God almighty, it's one of those like psychological social studies brain twist questions that you get at job screening. So, would you say that you're more of an asshole or less competent? Would you like to fight hunger today? No, I want everyone to starve, don't you know? And what bothers me about this is not anybody looking for money for anything. It is what it is. It is the fact that I have now seen the same screen pop up at multiple retail outlets. And you know what that means. It's coming from social scores. You're being tested, ladies and gentlemen. We're all being tested and slotted for social engineering scores. How many times did you decline to fight hunger? Well, if you don't want to fight hunger, then you obviously want people to starve. Because that's how it is. It's 1 or 0. It's binary. It's yes or no. It's on or off. There's no room in that equation for, but I gave $2,000 last year to the local food bank. No. Do you want to fight hunger? They don't even want your money. They just want to know, do you want to fight hunger? Be very, very careful, ladies and gentlemen. Be very careful. Words have meaning. Like this. I see this one traveling that like I do in some various form or another. The Hootersville Lions Club bringing an end to litter. You know, you see that on the side of the highway, whatever. Which is not, no, you're not. You're lying is what you're doing. You're full of shit because you are not bringing an end to litter. You're doing a very, very good thing by keeping that part of the highway clean. Helping to. That's not the point. You know how I am here on this outlet. We are into authenticity. And for you to say bringing an end to litter is bullshit. It's about like our stupid club we had in my high school in 1987 where we were doing a drug-free, we put on a friggin' DJ. We DJ'd and we played music during the 3 lunch periods one day, or all week actually, I think. And we were the Council of Students for Drug-Free. Shit. We just wanted to get out of class. Bringing an end to litter. No, you're not. Maybe, though, if you put on your sign instead of the Hooterville Lions Club bringing an end to litter, you would say something like, the Hooterville Lions Club cleaning up after you filthy motherfuckers for 20 years now. You might get somebody's attention that way. Shame is a good thing. Isn't it weird how smokers think that flinging cigarette butts out of the car is not littering somehow? That's a whole different thing. I'm not going to get to all this. We'll save some of this for for the summer months. But I have things that I need to cover. So back to Auburn stuff. The draft. Here's about as much as I care about this. I care about the NFL draft as it relates to Auburn. And for us to be putting guys to be getting guys drafted is a reflection on the program as a whole, on developing, on the kind of players that you bring in, keep, develop, and send to the next level. It is not a definitive benchmark of anything, but it is an indicator of competence. So the draft. Y'all know where I'm going. Everybody's talked about this already. In fact, 2 or 3 of the things that I wanted to talk about in this episode, I listened to the guys on the Wishbone, and I listened to, well, the rundown will come out tonight, or today is probably out by now. And I bet you, I guarantee you, they'll talk about at least one of these things regarding the draft and what it means, and also all this transfer stuff. But everything that I've listened to or read, I've been like, man, that's what I was going to say. So the good thing about that is that more and more and more of the Auburn family is getting on the same page about this. So it struck me as I started reading through the first round of the draft, the proclivity that some folks have for mockery and denigration of the, like the Mountain West and the AAC and the MAC and other non-Southeastern conferences vis-a-vis our new head coach. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know if he can coach it down here. He ain't got no SEC experience. So, you might want to take note of the fact that the numbers 2 and 3 overall draft picks were from BYU and North Dakota State. Yes. How many Malzahn developed players went in the first round? Oh, wait. Get your abacai out. 0.0. Here are just a few storied football juggernauts who put players in the first round of the draft this year. Brigham Young, North Dakota State. Northwestern put 2 in the first round. Tulsa, Minnesota, and Houston. Let's throw in South Carolina and Kentucky for good measure, just to kind of circle it back home a little bit. The proud football history of South Carolina and Kentucky. First round draft picks. Old Gustav, he kept bringing in top 10 recruiting classes. And where'd all that talent go? Third day or undrafted mostly. And I have to tell you that I cannot wait to enjoy the results of a mission-oriented head football coach who understands the correlation between scouting, recruiting, signing, coaching, developing, and setting players up for success on the next level. The old apothegm that it's not a college coach's job to create NFL draft picks is obtuse and antiquated. While that may be technically true, screw the NFL and the draft and everything else. I want you to win games here. Technically true doesn't exist in a vacuum. Also, you can't have 85 future NFL players on a squad. So, putting guys in the NFL is not just a matter of, winning or losing on this level. But if you want to consistently bring in those 5-star guys who will star on the next level, the ones who absolutely bring you wins at your school, then you'd best be able to show those guys that your program is a talent development machine. Otherwise, they ain't coming, and you're winning 7 or 8 games a year. Causation and correlation, man. Everything in life is a cycle, and you try to remove yourself from the high-functioning cycle, you'll forever be on the periphery. God, the malpractice that we endured in the recent past is just utterly infuriating. I mean, success begets success, I guess, unless you're actively trying to foil it. Do you remember how confusing it was post 2010 and 2013 that the Auburn football program did not capitalize in a huge way on those seasons, you would think, oh boy, God, I don't want to get into this again, but you would think that after 2013, that you could bring in every single dual threat quarterback in the world, just have them pounding on your door and take your pick. And actually, a little bit of that happened. And you said, no, not interested. Thanks. And then another guy that you actually did bring in and let rot on the bench, who took off for the football juggernaut of Liberty, is now being talked about as having been developed into a highly draftable NFL quarterback. Malik Willis, thank you very much. Anyway, bring my blood pressure back down. So to close this circle, the essence of your job is not to get guys drafted. However, you have to think, especially as a head coach, for Christ's sake, you have to think more than one layer deep, man. You have to have more than one degree of separation before your thought process breaks down. Look at how Bruce Pearl's doing it. You have to be thinking, you have to be playing three-dimensional chess in a 360-degree environment, and you have to be thinking 10 years down the road, minimum. You have to be looking forwards and backwards. Because it's not 1985 anymore. Everybody sees everything, and these players see. And we all know that we're starting behind the 8 ball when it comes to publicity. We know that. There's no mystery there, so we got an uphill battle to fight as it is. Set it aside. Build the machine. Develop guys. Get them drafted. The high school kids are watching that. Let me look at them. All you got to do is get them in the door to have a chance. You don't get them in the door, you got no chance. So I got to tell people, when they want to go cheap on real estate or architectural photography for digital stuff, don't underestimate the importance of that. Because you don't want to spend money on it. You don't want to focus on that. You're not thinking 6 layers deep. You're not playing three-dimensional chess. What you have to do if you're selling property or you're selling anything, food photography, anything like that, that's being presented in a digital format, people are inundated. People are overwhelmed with content. So you have to get them to pause for a beat, just one beat. When let's say you're buying a house or you're selling a house and you're on Zillow. If your photography is shitty, no one's going to stop and look at your house. Not stop and look at your listing. They're just going to flick right by it. Keep scrolling. Get them to pause a beat and then get them to step into your listing. Get those recruits, those 5 stars, to pause a beat when they see Auburn University. Get them to step into the campus. Otherwise, you got no shot. Then guess what? You got a higher talent pool. Then guess what? You're probably going to win more football games. If you got a competent coaching staff, they're going to develop these players. They're going to put them in the league. And the cycle continues. So the whole reboot your headspace thing, we've rebooted the shit out of it with this coaching hire. And you're going to see it pay off. So dovetailing from that to the whole transfer stuff, I pulled some articles, and then over the last couple of days when I saw the first one come, it's like dude after dude after dude after dude. It's like an avalanche of guys transferring. And listen, chill out. Yes, it sucks to lose four-star guys, former four-star guys, and blah, blah, blah. Talent, oh, we're thin here. We need guys there. Well, don't forget this works both ways. This transfer madness that's going on this year, it goes both ways. Guys are leaving. Guys are going to come in. It's a process. And this whole thing is going to work itself out in the wash. And in particular, let me pull this up over here a second. Well, you got Shea Garnett, and everybody saw that coming. That's a shame. I don't think I've ever seen him throw a football one time or take a snap. Maybe I have in mop-up duty, or maybe I saw it in A-Day 2 years ago. If he was there, I don't know. But anyway, not a big surprise. Wish him well. I cannot believe that he's not the third best quarterback on the team. And if he's not, he's not, y'all. If he's not, he's not. So it is what it is. I trust the coaches on this one. So we'll see how that unfolds. But who was it? Oh, Jay Hardy. Look, last time we talked about what's his nuts from Oklahoma that decommitted / reneged on his letter of intent on his NLI. And I compared that to the whole Pickens thing about how, he's an ultra-talented 5-star and we need that kind of talent here. But things were telling you under the radar, you don't want this guy here. He's trouble. He's a cancer. Now, I'm not saying that about Jay Hardy, but my God, man. Make up your mind, dude. So, seems like another guy we don't want around. So, it sucks to lose Jaron Handy and Jay Hardy. But once again, we got guys coming in. Things will shake out. So, yeah, all of this transfer craziness, I don't know. I do not know. Oh, how about sort of quasi-tangentially transfer-related? Here's an article from Andrew Hughes on flywareagle.com about Christian Tutt. Headlined, Auburn football, Christian Tutt's Tiger departure not paying off. And this is one of those things that when you saw it, first you saw his name in the transfer portal and you're like, what? Dude, what are you doing? Stay here, learn, do your thing, work your way up. And look, y'all, if it hasn't been made clear how I feel about this shit, I'm not against transferring. I'm not anti-transfer, but what I am anti is quitter mentality, is entitled mentality. Well, I can't play here. Well, I'm going somewhere else. How about you work for it, fucker? Work for something. There's a novel idea. Anyway, Christian Tutt, we saw him in the transfer portal, and you're like, what? Then you hear, well, Christian Tutt's withdrawing from the transfer portal, and you thought, all right, well, good call. He's going to stay and he's going to work. And then he said, well, he's putting his name into the NFL draft, and you were like, what? There's no way I just read that correctly. Dude, you got routinely worked when you were playing in the secondary. Worked. And you went undrafted and not signed as an undrafted free agent. Congratulations. A series of good decisions. And that's the part that bothers me the most. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs good advice. Everybody needs somebody helping them out with these tough things, especially when you're in that age group. When you are 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, and you are dumb as fuck. But you're big enough, you're adult-sized. You have somewhat of an education, but you are so dumb. We all were so dumb. Life experience means more than you can possibly imagine. And how about Anthony Schwartz? Congratulations. Glad he got drafted. Right? Yeah, Cleveland. God forbid. Cleveland. Jesus Christ. But Schwartz, I don't know. Who knows? This could be a case of one of those things where you see a guy absolutely shine on the next level that didn't do a heck of a lot here because he was being underdeveloped and misused, miscoached. Or he could just be a really, really fast guy that can't play the position. I don't know. We never could tell here. And what else we got going as I click around here? Those transfers. And, yes, as I touched on earlier, Auburn releases video rendering of new football complex, and it looks absolutely spectacular. Just stunning. Just stunning. 233,400 square foot performance center is on schedule to be open next year. And as I look over here at the construction cams, it looks like they've got a lot of dirt moved and things on site to start building. So that is underway and on schedule, and that thing's going to be spectacular. I don't care that it doesn't look like a rocket ship and have water slides and all that other dumb shit. It really is a complimentary piece of the university at large, and I kind of like that it matches the campus, don't you? It's understated, yet when you walk inside, it kicks your ass with awesomeness. All right. That's about all I got for that. I don't know. I think we might be able to call it a show right there. I still managed to go 52 plus minutes without not really all that much to talk about. So, what I'd like to do, there's a topic I want to cover, which a conversation I listened to earlier regarding potential future scheduling, how to construct the schedules and playoff expansion and bowl games and all that. And I would like to have, I would love to have a discussion about this, about the things, how to take on the critical task of advancing and strengthening college football without destroying it by moving away from the things that make it what it is. College football, to me, is sacred. It is not the NFL. Stop trying to make it more like the NFL. The NFL is boring. Remember when we talked about generational responsibility? Bring forward into the future the things that make college football uniquely amazing. The campuses. Stop playing games off campus. If you want to expand the playoff teams to 12 or 16 or whatever the hell it is you want to do, fine. Get rid of the bowl games and play every game except the championship game on campus. So anyway, I don't want to give away all of that stuff and all my ranting and raving, but I'd love to do an episode about that because I think there's a lot of stuff there. But what I'd like to do is have a guest or two, and I'd like to do it live. So that's why I'm always pushing you guys to download the Podbean app and listen through the Podbean app, because you can get all your other favorite podcasts on there as well. But you can also, I have the capability of doing a live show. And maybe by then I'll have the YouTube thing up and running. I'm slowly but surely moving back into my office since my wife has gone back to her office part-time. So that's been kind of the hurdle to get to me doing the video part, doing the YouTube thing. So let me know. Shoot me a line. Hit me up, as dummies used to say. And let me know how you feel about that, because I'd love to get a bunch of Auburn people into that live show and discuss how we keep college football awesome into the future, because by God, they are trying to kill it. Bunch of crusty old baby boomers shuffling off the planet and trying to hand things over to their idiot proteges who couldn't find their own ass with both hands. Anyway, so that's a thing. That's an idea that I'd like to have, that I'd like to do. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen. So look for that coming up. If not next week, then sometime in the future. And we will be here trying to get through the summer. So I don't know what the content is going to be. You know how I have a proclivity for rambling and telling stories and things like that. But there will always be something Auburn related in the content. And hopefully you'll join me here as we struggle through the summer. And we can nestle ourselves back into the bosom of fall. Of course, for us down here in the deep, deep South, fall comes around Halloween, if then. Lately, the last few years, it's been coming in mid-November. Anyway, so that might just do it. And with that, I bid you all good day. And when you rise to the new dawn, put your feet on the floor with determination to be just a little bit better than you were yesterday. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. Auburn Stuff can be found at auburnstuff.podbean.com. And at all the usual places: Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, TuneIn, and our biggest platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and lots of other places in the podcast universe, with YouTube on the way. As I mentioned, I encourage you to download the Podbean app. You can do lots of stuff with that. You can get the auto downloads and reminders. You can join in the fun and on live broadcasts. You can listen live and you can call in. You can interact, you can chat, comment, and drop in your 2 cents. Speaking of dropping in your 2 cents, if you'd like to holler at me with anything that's on your mind, you can shoot me a line the old-fashioned way at auburnstuff@yahoo.com. I am also barely active on Twitter and Instagram. But I shut down the Facebook page because Facebook is of the devil. And as I always say before I get out of here, actively support what you like and love. Take those little bits of time to subscribe, rate, and review. Give what you can to your favorite shows. Share the episodes. It helps more than you know. Don't let your favorite things disappear. And as we shuffle away into the darkness, be mindful, be fit, be authentic. Sometimes it's all you have, but most of the time, it's all you'll ever need. Until next time, War Eagle, y'all.